Hello, everyone. I'm Krasi, and I have the pleasure, Joe Greenland, to be my guest. You know Joe Greenland. She was. We had wonderful conversations before. Joe is a medicine man, a real shaman. He lives in Canada. Exactly, Joe, in these beautiful native places where you can still experience the real spiritual energies. Joe, thank you for being here. We want to talk today about the future energies. We all know about the great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction and all these things which are happening on the sky, which obviously happen also on Earth. So Joe, please, I leave it absolutely entirely to you to tell us about the future energies after 2020, 21. What do you experience? What intuitively you, because I know when I had a clearing with you, I had session with you, you are so intuitive, authentic shaman and medicine man. So please.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Krasi. It's been a while since we've seen one another. I lit a smudge bowl and just inviting in the spirits, asking for whatever needs to channel come through. Blessings to go to people wherever, whoever they are, wherever they are, when they're watching, that they get answers and receive things, blessings for the next 20 years, inviting all the different guides and spirits that want to come through. One of the things I came across for the 2021 in the natives, we always talk about the purifications, and in many different cultures and languages, they have different ways of talking about this. And for us, we believe that it's a time of purification where the Earth Mother is ready to clean and change things or put things back right. And we're so out of balance, and there's still stuff we're going to have to go through. But not long ago, the Hopi, they've been saying this for years, that when the blue Kachina comes in, they just said the blue Kachina came when that grand connection of Saturn and Jupiter in the sky. They said the blue Kachina is here. That's one of their prophecies. And I can't fully remember what the prophecy is all about, but it's bringing change into the world, because they talked about the red Kachina and the blue one. And they have a lot of prophecies, and they're saying each one, when it comes in, it's showing that we're in those times of the Earth Mother changing and things moving into the future. People are all curious about a lot of different things, and I really believe the energy in the Earth is going to speed up. And as that happens, all the people on the Earth that are seeking Creator, the future, and knowledge and that, and they connect with the Earth Mother, their energy is going to lift higher. So their energy is going to speed up, and things are going to get quicker and faster. And that's going to help us to move forwards. But trying to stay grounded, I always tell people, well, ground, talk to the Earth Mother, ask her. She can give you visions. She can help you find where you need to be. She can help you in many ways. In the natives, our ceremonies are always around that when we do our ceremonies, we invite the Earth Mother and the Creator to assist us to have peace and maybe see how to move through into the future.
Joe, let me interrupt you, because you mentioned about speeding of time. Isn't the time fast enough? It's like the way we experience time, because I know the concept of time is a little bit, well, it's indeed hard to describe terminology, but still, we do experience time already fastened. Like it's much faster than 20 years ago. How fast it can become?
Well, what I'm talking about is the energy of the Earth and the human body. It's like they say the Earth vibrates at 7 hertz, like her energy that she gives off is 7 hertz. And in the Cryon book that I read way back, I think this first book that came out in the 90s or somewhere in that area, 98 or something like that. And he talks about the Earth Mother's energy is going to go up to 11 hertz. So the Earth's is at 7, and eventually it's going to get up to 11. So that's going to speed everything up. And that's going to make things quicker and faster, but it's going to help the Earth Mother because she's got to do things and she needs the energy to do that, but still sustain life and help everything as whatever we're progressing into. And I meet a lot of people who have images of Earth changes, and a lot of times they'll ask me about it, and I'm like, when you're showing these things, you're given it for a reason, and the universe is trying to prepare you. They're trying to give you knowledge of where things are going on so you can move forwards and go to the places you need to. But people are afraid to see things. People are afraid to know stuff about the future. And I'm like, if you're going to look into the future or study the future, don't look for fear. Look for positive answers. Look for things that are going to lift your spirits and help you to know that there's something good there, and it gives you a reason to move forwards. And I always tell people, if you have abilities, try to find out how to use them. Like in the natives, we have a ceremony called a vision quest, where you go up in the mountains and you fast and you pray and you ask the universe to help you to see things. And so you get these visions and things. In time, lots of these things are revealed to you as you're moving into the future. So a lot of people have these kinds of abilities, and they're asking for this, or they're wanting to know these things, and then when it comes through, they all get afraid, and then they back away, and sometimes they're like, oh, I'm making it up, it's daydreaming, or creating illusions and stuff. And I'm like, start talking and sharing with one another, because once you find other people who are seeing the same thing as you start feeling better. It's like, okay, I'm not making this up. If this person is being shown the same thing, getting the same kind of messages, then there must be something in this. And I feel that is so important, where the children who are growing up, they're trying to understand, because they're seeing and hearing and knowing a lot of things, and they're not really sure, because like until we get there in the future, it's sort of unknown. We're sort of walking down this path trying to get to this place, and we're all trying to see and wondering if we're on the right path or not. I always tell people that these things were already agreed upon by everybody on the planet, and part of the whole thing is accepting and moving into that future, and when you get there, you're going to see it all. Feels like
yeah, sorry, please.
no, go
About
ahead.
the dark forces, Joe, because indeed I do agree that we need to remain positive, to vibrate high, to this way we avoid the evil, but still it exists. How about this? Really escaping what is dominating the earth so much, which is the evil, obviously, the evil forces, and it's so grim and it's so sad.
Yeah, these things were all like I say, there was an agreement with mankind and everything, like what we're going through, and everything comes to an end. And the age of Aquarius supposedly is the age of 1,000 years of enlightenment and learning and evolving and lots of things. Like we're going to go higher, like we're going to really connect with the Creator, really connect with the earth. We're going to bring all the different spiritual beliefs together. We're going to put in the mathematics. We're going to put in all the different other kinds of science and things. And we're going to see deeper into these things, and we're going to change the way we see and understand what this world is about. We're going to really know deeper a lot of things about the light, the creative force that sustains all things. The negative force is just trying to project out thoughts and different things. When there is prophecies, there's an energy. There's this energy that builds and builds and builds and builds. And at a certain point, that energy has to burn out. Something has to happen. It's like the fuse has to get lit. Everything has to burn out, then that energy releases. And for the last 2,000 years, there's been certain prophecies that have been around that basically there were people in the past who had these abilities to see, and some people thought, well, let's record this and write it down, whether it was in the Bible or through Nostradamus and others. They were given these things to see and share with the world. They thought it was important and they wrote it down and it stayed around. So when people are seeing things, they're giving visions to, like I say, help one another. And these prophecies are forewarning. So when you're showing something and giving knowledge, then it's saying, well, this is going to happen in this area. And I always tell people, if you know if there's a prophecy, there's going to be an earthquake in an area, then maybe don't live in that area. If you want to be in the future, ask to be somewhere else, or find a reason to move and go some other place. If there's wars or things going to happen in certain areas, then if you know that, don't be in that area, because you're trying to live into the future and you're trying to do things. So the negative side just plays on this. They know these kinds of things are going to play themselves out and they have to burn out. And as that's going on, like I say, there are people who are bringing in energy and knowledge and other things. In the time of Atlantis, the same thing. They did things with nature. They did things with the earth, and they put everything out of whack. And eventually, the Earth Mother changed that, and she put everything back in balance. And that's where, from that point, we've come to this one. And we've done the same thing. We've altered the weather. We've genetically changed the plants. We've done so many kinds of things that put everything out of the sequence the way it is. And the Earth Mother is going to put everything back. And basically, that's where these prophecies and that come through. So if you know them, you know these things are going to play out. And I always say, for people who do have the knowledge in that, is you learn to be a watcher, because I know all these things, but I can't prove anything.
No.
And I'm given visions and I'm given things, and sometimes I'll share those with people, and I'm like, this is what I was told and shown, but I really can't prove it. The universe is going to prove it, or the Earth Mother is going to do something.
We do trust you. We believe in your visions. Tell us a good vision. Tell us, what are your recent visions about the future? Of course, you can add to this what you know from Nostradamus, but your visions are also very interesting. Please tell us. And when do you think things will start to, like, when justice will be received? Because we know this is a major case of injustice, of course. So when do you think that we will receive, the human race will receive justice, and when the good times will start? How long are we going to be under this suppression, if you want?
I really don't have a time frame. All I know is the universe and the Earth Mother is trying to get mankind to come together. They're trying to help us to come together to stop and change things. And people have to really decide, because we basically live in a system where the governments and everything tell us how to live and what we need to do, and they sort of control and make things happen on the planet. And everybody has to come together and say, well, we're tired of this, and we're not accepting this way of being anymore, like wars or anything like that, where the government tells everybody. I mean, we vote them into their position to do a job. Once they're in there, they basically tell millions and millions of people what they have to do or how things get done. And people should be the ones who have the say. The government should be only there to make what the people on the planet want, the right things to happen. And this, whatever is going on the planet, is trying to get us to come together. The Dalai Lama, he said in one of his teachings, he says the woman of the West, the women and the children of the West are going to be the ones to bring change on the planet. And when I grew up as a little boy and I was very small, my granddad always told me, he says, it's the women and children who are going to change this planet. He says, they're the ones. He says, when they all come together and they decide, he says, everything on this planet will change. And like, it's a desire, because a woman brings the children into the world, and is, what is it you're teaching the children? It's like, what are their beliefs, and what do they think, and how do they want to see their future, and what are they going to decide and do to bring that change? So when these things happen, that's where everything is going to change. And this is pushing us to finally stand up and saying, well, our governments are not honoring us, and they're not doing the things we put them there for. So we got to all come together and change that. You're seeing all these different groups getting together, like you posted the one in France where it was this big group of people and they're all marching and they're all trying to change stuff.
Yeah.
And this is really a truth. And I always say that if there is enough children and they understood and they came together and they held a thought and a belief and they all started sharing that, the more they shared and believe in it, the quicker we would bring that change on the planet. So the hardest thing to understand is these prophecies and that have to come to a close. They have to end. There's an energy there that has to burn itself out. And the negative forces, no matter what you want to call them, when you think of a cancer, cancer is in a person and it's in there and it's living and it's very happy. Then all of a sudden it gets very aggressive and wants to take over. It consumes itself. It destroys everything. And that's what the negative forces are going to do. They're literally going to like burn
Destroy
themselves up
themselves.
and
Yeah.
destroy themselves. So that's the way the universe works. It doesn't try to force things. It allows things to correct itself in the right way. And I always look at it as a cancer, because a cancer will do that. It's living in a person, but once it gets aggressive, the person's gone. The cancer doesn't live anymore. It's done.
Wonderful example. Wonderful
Yeah.
example.
And that's the way I look at any kind of negative things that are going on. I'm like, these things were there and we agreed to learn this. And it's trying to push us to go deep inside. It's trying to push us to go into loving one another, because we're so separated in that individual, that this is mine, that's mine, and it's all about me. And when I grew up as a little boy in my community, if somebody didn't have something, the whole community found out and they would find ways to help that person or family to have things. And everybody would come together and help. And it was a way I grew up. And then by the time I was 15 years old, it stopped. It changed. Like
Exactly.
people today now, they don't help one another. It's all about me. And if you want something from me, you got to buy it or don't come and bother. It's like people don't really help like they used to in the past.
Very
So
sad, yes.
those kinds of things, we're all going to go back to there, where we're really going to take care of one another. Like the idea of somebody starving in another part of the world is really not a good thing, and it shouldn't be going on. But like I say, that's where we got to decide to change that.
Joe,
I
share us.
believe.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Share some of these prophecies, or some interesting things, like what to expect to happen.
Well, from what I understand, there's going to be a lot more earthquakes, and I know people don't want to hear those things, but it's part of the Earth Mother preparing um, to, like she rebirths. It's like the Earth Mother has been sitting in a certain area, and she's been spinning, spinning, spinning for a very long time. And I always say, look at it like a woman who's having a baby, and the baby's growing inside the womb, and every now and then it has to move, and it moves around, and it just keeps moving until it's ready to come into the world. And the Earth Mother has been sitting in it, and it's been in one position for a long time, and she's going to roll and change. And because if you look at the way the plates on the planet are, and if it keeps spinning, everything is going to come and crush, and then it'll get too heavy on one side and things will go off. So she tries to counter that and balance, like she has to put herself in a new position. So from what I understand is from the Dolores Cannon Nostradamus books, she, through one of the persons who did a past life regression thing, is they say that the earth is going to roll and Edmonton might be down around the equator. And like that's a really big roll. And from what I understand and the things I know is the future is like the whole planet is going to be like one temperature. It's not going to really get cold like it does anymore. It's going to be like climatized. So it's going to be nice around the whole planet. And like I say, there won't be the frozen North Pole and the frozen South Pole. There's going to be a lot more water. some parts of the planet are going to sink and new ones are going to come up, because some places are very, very toxic. So
Mhm.
the Earth Mother cleans that up. She tries to pull things down and then bring up new things. So for us to grow stuff and that, we need nourished new soils, new different kinds of things. So part of her changing and doing these things is to clean up some of these old things. Like I always say, she's the best chemist. She knows how to make things healthy. She knows how to put everything back into balance. And when she's ready, she will bring all of those things out. And like people always think, well, how do we save the planet? I'm like, you can't save the planet. If she wanted to get rid of mankind, she could do it. She has all kinds of ways of creating things to remove us, but she wants us here. So she's going to try to find a way to bring balance back and health and other things. And the children that are being born on this planet, they've been seen by cultures like the Mayan. When they looked into the future, they saw the children of the corn. There were other cultures who looked into the future and they saw the crystal children. And lots of cultures looked into the future and they could see the energies of the children. And they knew these children would be the ones who would bring this really big change to this planet. And there's a lot of them now that are already born and they're already saying that I came here and I'm going to help heal the water. So they know inside when they get older, they're going to come together and somehow they're going to start finding ways to heal the water. And there's others, like I say, they all have these different awarenesses. Yeah, and lots of times I just get these little things, and when I meet people, lots of times I'm shown things, and like I have to be careful what I reveal because I don't like things happening to people. Like there's some children I know that have so many abilities and their parents don't understand it, and I try to encourage them, like you have to teach them, you have to get them to
Mhm.
talk, you have to get them to share. Go on YouTube and find different kind of sites and find other children who have these knowledges, and they need to share it and we need to work together. Basically, we all have to come together and decide these things. A lot of people say, oh, the Star Brothers and Sisters are going to come in and they're just going to stop everything. And it's not a truth. We
No.
live on this planet and we have to come to a consensus. We all got to come to an agreement and we got to go, we're never going to do this again. And once we do that, we're going to come together and change and end that. Um, we have to go through a lot of different ups and downs. And I feel it's coming very, very fast. And there are things that are going to go on that are going to be really, really amazing. Like I say, as the energy speeds up, people are going to be manifesting and creating and doing a lot of stuff. There's going to be lots of new technology to help the planet. One of the technologies that I came across years ago, I was trying to find an answer. I'm like, okay, in the future, how are we going to do things if things are so difficult? And the universe says it already gave the planet and everybody the answers how to do things. They're going to build a machine and it's going to create all the different ultraviolet light. So you can have like a cave and you can turn it into a garden and you can turn this machine on and it will give off the energies that whatever you're growing in there will grow because it's receiving all the right ultraviolet lights, and it will be very healthy because there are certain kinds of things that are going to alter, like I say, different things in the atmosphere. Like in the past, they were saying there's acid rain, there's something causing acid rain. And that is something that's going to affect things. It's like the universe always gives us everything to help us to move forward. So, like people are worried about 5G.
Exactly, you read my mind. My question was about 5G.
Because with 5G, there are certain kinds of clothing and material and that is already coming out. Like there's Kevlar and other kinds of stuff. But people are going to start realizing if you wear certain, because they're going to make hoodies and they're going to make different kinds of clothing to keep these from affecting us. So when we're going out places, and so the universe already has this there, and people are already creating and making this. Like
Can
the
we
universe,
overcome the 5G with spiritual techniques, maybe also, if, not only using this mechanical or like a clothing, or can we maybe with overcome it differently with, I don't know, vibrationally or?
um, that was designed for a certain reason, and like I say, there are books about these different things. One of them is called "Angels Don't Play This Harp," and um, it was a harp machine in Alaska, and there's all these scientific studies and what it's all about. In the Bible, it talks about there's going to be a machine in the end times where it can put up an energy dome, and basically that's what this 5G is. It creates, but it does a lot of other kinds of things, and there's knowledge about it. But whenever there's something harmful, the universe will always find the counter to find a way to help everybody survive it. And that's where it's like people have to channel this knowledge. People have to share this wisdom with one another. And like I say, it's just going to keep pushing us to want to come together to stop it, because that's the only thing is when all the people on the planet decide, then the governments can't do this anymore. And
Mm.
well, one of the things too is like people are worried about computers and other kinds of things, and there's going to be new kinds of technology. Like we're going to be creating a lot of new things to help one another. Like Facebook is very controlled. I think there's going to be something new coming in where if we go on that site, it's not going to be so much controlled, where we're going to be able to do a little bit more. And as we're going into the 2021 and into the future, there's going to be a lot of different things people are going to be developing to help in many different ways. But that 5G is, I don't really put a lot of thought into it. I really believe there's different things, even from the Earth Mother, that if you're meant to be alive, you're going to be in the future. And if you're getting knowledge and you're sharing and you're helping, then the universe is going to find every way to help you. A lot of people are going to move out of cities and big towns and that, and go live out in rural areas, out in farm areas and that, where they're not really so in like in all these towns and cities, you're seeing all these different towers and everything, and they're just sending all kinds of stuff out. So biggest thing people are going to really choose to is move out of big places and go back to farming and go back to really taking care of themselves, because we have to take care of ourselves when we're growing our own food. We know what's in it. You know,
Yes.
whatever we have around, we're doing it for ourselves. So these things people are going to realize how important, because we got used to the store providing everything, the manufacturers and everything, and people got to realize that I got to take care of me. And it's like the future. I keep saying in the future there'll be no more doctors and nurses. People will go back to understanding the plants and the herbs and the medicines, and they'll go back to a lot of the ancient ways, uh, through native spirituality, through different shamanisms from around the world. Like the Mongolians, they are very connected in their spiritual ceremonies.
Mhm.
And there's many other cultures out there that are trying to get their knowledge and their herbs and medicines out so people can use them. In every area, there are plants there that people have to understand. It's important to know these plants. So if you get sick, you will know which ones to harvest to help your body to get healthy. And I always encourage people to find books with stuff to do with plants and herbs. If you can find that in your area, then if you really need something, you can go out and pick it and use it. And coming together in groups is one of the biggest things. The universe is trying to unite us, and like all these things are pushing at us, and people feel like they're claustrophobic. It's even though these things are going on, it's still like I'm still able to go out and I'm still able to do things. So I try to connect with other people out there that are willing to share and try to find answers. And I say the biggest thing is meditation, learning how to meditate. Ask the creator, what is it you need to do? Where are you going to be in the future? How are you going to do things? These things are so important for each individual, and you don't know who in the family or friends that may be shown really lots of stuff and share that with you. That's going to really, really help you in so many ways.
Yes,
Um,
give us some instructions, please, Joe, because I know that you're doing so many authentic ceremonies. Please give us instructions now for this very important time. Really, what to do in terms of these spiritual ceremonies or how to meditate. Just briefly, just clear instructions, really to help people.
um, Biggest thing is connect with the Earth Mother. It's like this in our meditations. The first thing in all the native ceremonies is the first thing is we invite the Creator in, because the Creator created all things and knows all things. So in all the ceremonies, so the first thing is always call the Creator in and ask for the blessings for Creator to open up everything. And then we ask the Earth Mother to come in because she supports us and creates everything. So we ask her to bring her energy in and bring the two together, because the creative force here in the Earth Mother, the two got to meet. And once that happens, and then we invite the spirits of the East, we invite the spirits of the South, the spirits of the West, spirits of the North, and all these energies come in together to work with us. And we call the angels in the natives, we call them grandmothers and grandfathers. They're very ancient, loving beings. And we ask them, please come in and help us with our day, help us with our life, be in our home, be a part of whatever. And when we do these things and we pray, and then we close our eyes and we ask for answers. And I think everybody can do this. I think everybody needs to start doing that. A lot of people will go into churches or into Buddhist temples and other places, and they'll get somebody to tell them what to do, instead of going, well, why don't I just do this in my home? Why don't I start doing this? If I got a garden, I'm going to go out there each day. I'm going to take something and I'm going to give something to the earth and the creator and all these spirits that love me. And I'm going to sit with them and I'm going to start letting them help me see and understand the things I need to do and how I need to either help myself or help other people. And that is one of the biggest ones. It's like whenever I light my smudge, I always, first thing is the smoke goes to the creator. And then I always take the smoke and I flick it and give it down into the earth, and then to the east, to the south, to the west, to the north. And then I'll do a spin and I'll give it to all the spirits and ask them to come in to bring their wisdom, because they have all the answers and the knowledge. And when you do this more and more and more, that trust in that understanding grows bigger, and you will just receive a lot more things. I say it's like you do astrology, and for people who don't understand astrology, when they look at the chart, it's like something very strange, very foreign. There's all these different things, but after you learn it, it's like a language. And it's the same thing with meditation, is a language. Everybody has different ways of meditating. Some people, when they're walking, they go into a meditative state. So whenever they're having problems in their lives or they're having difficulty, they're like, I'm going to go for a walk. And they take their problem and they leave the house and they'll go out and they'll just walk, walk, walk. And by the time they get home, a lot of times they'll have their answers. They'll receive, or they'll be shown what they need to do to change that. Other people, some people, they have the martial arts, like they use Tai Chi or they use Qigong or they use like martial arts like karate or something, and they go into this meditative state and they're shown things and they receive these answers. And you learn to trust it, because you have to trust it. You have to believe it inside yourself that what I'm being shown and told is the truth. And I'm going to be given the answers on how to do things and where I need to be. and how I need to deal with this, because people are too focused on 5G and too focused on
Yeah.
other things. And the more you focus on that, the more it pulls your energy down. I focus on the creator, I focus on the future, and I ask for answers. I ask to see. To me, it's very important to see. I ask to dream, and in my dreams to be shown the things I need to see, or if there's changes coming in my life, or different kinds of things are going to go on. Like sometimes I'm showing people coming to me, and it's like when they come, I'm like, oh, I was already shown this, and here's this person, and I already know what's going to go on. So all of us, I say, we're either TVs or radios, and it's learning how to dial into the universe. It's learning how to put our mind in the future, how to put our things on. Well, I'm going to create something positive that's going to help everybody around. And if they create positive things, then we're just going to keep bringing in more abundance and more change and more good technologies and positive things. And I always say these prophecies, like stuff in the Bible, and that they're all going to play themselves out, and people can see these different things coming. If you have different knowledges on prophecies, you can see the different things starting to play out. And one of the things in the Bible, it says there's going to be 5 conglomerations in the end times, and the 5 conglomerations, like there's 3 in Europe. There's the European Union, I think there's Russia and China are the 3, and then there's over here on this continent, we don't have that yet. But when those 2 play out, that's when all these things are now happening, and we're basically moving in that. And there's things right now that's trying to push that to come together. So from my understandings is the United States, Canada, and Mexico are going to unite as one, and then from Mexico down is going to be the other, and then you'll have the 5 conglomerations that has been seen and prophesied. In the Bible, they talk about the number of the beast. It
Oh
got
yeah.
distorted and changed. It basically was, the guy was way back in time. He didn't know the word microchip, and he didn't know a lot of things. He was sitting there and he was just showing this, and he told the church, and they recorded this. And he saw the first microchip being placed in an animal. If you go back to an experiment the United States did, they took a dog and they put a microchip in its ear, and they dropped it in the mountains, and they left the dog for a week, and then they used the satellite. And when the satellite moved over, it said where the dog was. When they went there, they found the dog. And he saw this microchip put in all the animals, and then it was put in humans. He didn't know it was called a microchip, and he saw the number on it, 666. So basically, he didn't want to say microchip in that because he didn't have that language. So
Yes. Hmm.
he just called it the number of the beast because he saw it going in animals first and then maybe put in all the humans. So
Hmm.
these things he
We're at
saw.
this stage already, Joe. We're at this stage.
Yes. And in different parts of Europe, they're doing this. People have already accepted this. There's corporations,
Sweden,
companies. Yeah.
Sweden, very popular.
And in England, I think it was becoming really popular. They were saying in the beginning of 2020 that all the children that were born, they would start microchipping them. So, I mean, it's already in a lot of these countries, and they've been trying to figure it out, and the technology is there. So it's going to go that way, and it might be that way for a while, but eventually it'll change and end, and then we're going to move into something different. But like I say, these things might happen, and like everybody's like, well, is it Bitcoin? Is it this? Is it that? And I'm like, everything is volatile and it's jumping around, and all I know is certain things are going to play themselves out and happen. And if you're meant to be alive in the future, you're going to be there. And that's where you need to connect with your meditations. You need to believe the things you're being told inside, and all the people that are being brought to you with knowledge and information, they're being brought to you for a reason. And you have to pay attention to these things because people will give you knowledge, they will share things, and it's going to become more that way. People are going to realize and really start finding ways to help one another. And people are going to really rebel because they're tired of the governments doing what they're doing, and they're going to try to
Yes.
stop these things. So this is something that's already in effect. And like I say, we just got to go through it. Like in the 60s when they had these hippie revolutions, and we, you know, got together, and they, you know, wanted the Vietnam War stopped, and people all around the world decided, you know, and it brought changes. And I think we're right at that point again where we're going to start to come together. And I don't know if it's going to be a hippie movement or what, but we're going to come together and we're going to really work on trying to stop and change things. But there are prophecies that are going to play out. And if you do have knowledge and wisdom and you have ways of seeing it, you can look at certain kinds of things and it will give you the answers. And people are aware of all the prophecies and knowledge. It's just don't fear it. It's find the answers to help yourself move forwards and not live in fear.
Joe, it's just the right moment to, if you allow me, just to say that on your website, you have this link to the meditations which you do, and they're very helpful. I have been on a few of them. They're very, very helpful. The meditations are exactly as you described them. They lead you to this process of really connection, receiving answers. They are on your website, which I will list under this video. It's the Fox Dreamer Point CA from Canada, but I will put link, and you do them actually on the site, on the website of Zorina. They know her also from my channel, healandlearn.com. I will put all these links so people who like to join. I think you still do them on Wednesdays. These are wonderful events. I usually have readings on Wednesdays, and the times that I could really join were really, really wonderful, and there are many people who participate. So you just do this meditation, like asking for answers, and everyone participates very actively. People receive answers, and they really feel very connected and very well after every meditation you do on Wednesday. And you also do private clearings and consultations. So all this is available on foxdreamer.ca. This I wanted also to say to people, because I can just tell that how we met with Joe. Joe came to me for a reading, and then I saw how authentic he is. The horoscope was really of authentic medicine man. And then I had a reading from you, clearing, and it was truly amazing. So I highly recommend this. And it was just not only interesting, but I learned a lot. And I want to share to people one thing that I learned from you, and I still use. It was amazing. You taught me of connecting with my guardian angel, because I never knew such simple things we need to know. It's just simple, basic things, really, to ask and connect with your guardian angel. Maybe this is one of the things which could be very useful for people that are watching us, to connect. This is helping you ask for favors even, because he is there to help you, right?
Yes. And that's basically what it is. It's just talking and asking them, and they'll start showing you and they'll start helping you. And once you really plug into that, then many things change, many things happen. And like I say, the universe loves everybody and it wants to give us answers, but we're asking other people, we're asking other things. It's like, why not ask the universe? If it has something there, let it prove it to you, let it show you, and have it in your home, have it with you all the time. And these angels want to love you, want to help you, but if you're not asking them, then they just wait until you're ready to bring them in and receive what they want to share with you.
So yes, basically, Joe, not to concentrate into the evil forces, just really to benefit from this, for our awakening, from our connection. This is the most important thing. So, Joe, thank you so much. This was so useful, and I will put all links also to your Facebook, to your YouTube channel, where you're teaching people how to smudge. This is also something wonderful, and so many other things are available on your YouTube and also on your website. Thank you so much, Joe, and see you very soon.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you, Krasi.
Thank you.